Thousands of years ago, the Chinese discovered that a mixture of charcoal, sulfur, and potassium nitrate burns at a rapid rate. Sulfur and charcoal are the fuel, and potassium nitrate provides the oxygen. The Chinese used this mixture for fireworks. Eventually, it was also used as gunpowder and bombs. Potassium nitrate is a fertilizer. Our ancestors found it in caves. It's produced by bacteria as they decompose organic material. Sulfur can be found near volcanoes. This mixture is still used in fuses and fireworks, but the military has switched to a more destructive explosive in which oxygen is attached directly to the hydrocarbon molecule. Nitroglycerin and TNT are examples. A slightly more powerful explosive that is widely used today is RDX. 3 carbon atoms are held together by 3 nitrogen atoms. 2 hydrogen atoms are attached to each carbon. Attached to that molecule are 3 more nitrogens, each of which has 2 oxygens. Nitrogen does not hold carbon or oxygen very tightly. Rather, the nitrogen is analogous to rubber bands that are on the verge of breaking. When RDX ignites, the nitrogen loses its grip on the carbon and oxygen, and the molecule shatters. The oxygen, carbon, and hydrogen then combine, producing heat and high-pressure gas in the process. The molecule next to it then shatters, starting a chain reaction that travels through the material at about 18,000 miles per hour. RDX detonates so quickly that it explodes even without being confined to a container. The military takes advantage of this by mixing powdered RDX with about 10% of a rubbery material to create a plastic explosive known as C4. The rubber allows RDX to be molded easily, and it makes it safer to handle because RDX is poisonous. However, the rubber reduces the explosive power. In a candle flame, the hydrocarbons must get oxygen from the air, and that process takes time. But adding oxygen to the hydrocarbons allows the material to burn at a rapid rate. It is this addition of oxygen to the hydrocarbons that transforms hydrocarbons into an explosive. The most important characteristic of explosives is that they create an incredibly high-pressure gas. Calculations show the pressures are as high as millions of pounds per square inch. This pressure causes the gas to expand outward at supersonic speed. The gas is mainly steam, carbon monoxide, nitrogen, and carbon dioxide. Temperatures exceed 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which is above the melting point of steel. This extreme pressure and expansion is what makes explosives so dangerous. A small candle has more energy than a grenade, but a grenade is very destructive. The reason is that the energy in a grenade is released within a fraction of a second, rather than several hours, thereby creating such phenomenal pressures that the steel housing is shattered and pieces are sent flying. To summarize 2 important differences between explosives and fireballs, first, explosives reach temperatures beyond 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit, but it's impossible for hydrocarbons burning in the atmosphere to exceed about 1,800 degrees. Second, and most important, explosives create extreme pressures that cause the gas to expand at a supersonic rate. Nothing can withstand a supersonic blast of 3,000 degree gas at 5 million pounds per square inch. This allows explosives to tear apart steel beams, pulverize concrete, and shatter solid rock. However, as the blast of gas expands, it rapidly drops in pressure. In order to rip through steel, the explosive must be very close to it. This is why the soldier is laying chunks of C4 directly on the bombs he wants to destroy. Fireballs, on the other hand, have no significant pressure. Another way to understand the difference between explosives and fireballs is to consider that if a fireball would remain on the ground, rather than rise in the air, you could get your clothes wet, hold your breath, and run into it. As soon as you passed through the boundary of flames, you would find yourself in a chamber of hydrocarbon vapor. There are no flames inside a fireball, so the temperature is low. More importantly, there is no high pressure inside. Of course, you would be roasted by the infrared radiation coming from the outside flames. However, my point is that you could run into a fireball, but you could not run into an explosive. If you think I'm exaggerating about running into a fireball, just watch as I pass my fingers through flames that are hot enough to melt aluminum. Now that you know about explosives, you can understand one possible reason the military is hiding this video. If a missile exploded, the fireball would have started out as a bright, white light, and within one frame of video it would have grown to the size of the Pentagon. This rapid expansion would prove that it was an explosive. If this video truly shows Flight 77, our military officials should be fired for keeping it a secret because they're allowing accusations of corruption to run wild throughout the world. Our military is supposed to protect us, but the evidence and secrecy suggests that they have joined some mysterious crime syndicate. Another suspicious aspect of this attack is that military officials refuse to state that these scraps are definitely from Flight 77. For example, this photo is at a military website, and the caption given to it by the military states that this item is believed to be a piece of the aircraft that crashed into the Pentagon. Military officials are not saying that it is a piece of the aircraft, rather they believe it is a piece. Also, they say it is a piece of the aircraft that hit the building, not a piece of Flight 77. Was this just a meaningless choice of words? Or are military officials deliberately refusing to put their name on documents that clearly state that they found pieces of Flight 77? Could it be that military officials deliberately make vague statements so that they can fake innocence at a trial? The particular words in this caption make it easy to fake innocence. If the person who wrote that caption was taken to court, he could say, "I never said those scraps were from Flight 77. I said it was believed to be from whatever aircraft hit the Pentagon." A more significant example is that military officials claim they have no idea who released these 5 images from the Pentagon security camera. Is our military really this incompetent? Or is everybody afraid to have their name associated with those images? Consider what would happen if this scam were exposed and a trial were conducted. Everybody who saw that security video saw something similar to a Global Hawk and a missile. They did not see Flight 77. Therefore, everybody who saw that video could be accused of being an accessory to this scam, since they helped to deceive the world about it. This would explain why nobody in the military is willing to admit to having seen that video. If there is ever a trial for this scam, everybody in the military will pretend they never had access to this video.